Google mentioning when a link is ignored between two sites if one of the pages isn't indexed.
I'm reading that right now.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Especially because we've seen tests. It's been a while since I've seen a test on it, but where sites not being indexed in the public index are still affecting rankings. And at the same time, too, looking back on some of those tests, I gotta wonder, was I observing de-indexed links for some of those, or was I just observing SERP movement?
Also, there's two indexes.
And which
too.
index are they referring
There's
to?
one index that we never even see. So, I don't know, the public index that's visible, I don't agree with that, because I also saw a lot of tests that go against that, or links that aren't in that index, the public index. Now, you don't know if they're in that, the secondary index or not, but in the public index, I definitely saw single variable tests that move the needle from links that weren't there. So that's interesting. I mean, further testing needed, maybe, but or maybe they're talking about other index. I don't know.
Yeah, because they never really said, like, if you see it in the index, they were referring to if it's in their index and if Googlebot is crawling it, but they never really determine, you know, and it's one of those things we could sit here and theorize all day long. Personally, though, I think it would make sense if Google didn't count links that were going to pages that weren't in the public index.
Yeah, I think it more than anything, and it's been a long time since I messed with this, admittedly. I mean, this brings back to like PBN days.
Yeah.
Because that's initially where, I think that's where you started seeing some weird shit too, where you would have PBNs that were de-indexed for quite some time, but there'd be, I mean, you could see in the server logs that Google was still crawling it like at a pretty high rate. Now that's, you know, that's not to say that's because it was passing PR or not, but you know, it led to make you wonder, at least, right? And from there, I mean, I could believe how they want to evolve and say, hey, if we're going to continue to crawl where there's this second index, right, the second ecosystem that they're crawling, maybe they're saying, hey, we're going to expend, you know, the resources and the crawl budget for this just to make sure if something eventually passes our quality score, it's going to move back into the public cache and we're going to count it again.
Which I've seen on PBNs back when I
Yeah.
was doing that, yeah.
But like, I could follow the school of thought that they don't want to count the links from the index stuff. But like I said, we have tested it before, and we've collaborated with people that have tested it before, and I can definitely tell you that the indexed links have moved mountains at one point. The problem is, again, we're talking like years ago.
It's about 2, 3, maybe.
I mean, it was probably 3+ for me, and like a lot can change. Like I could see how they want to improve quality and say, hey, if the quality score of this site doesn't reach a certain level, we don't want to count it towards grading the rest of these sites. Like I can see that. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're kind of at the mercy of, you know, either test or just listen, right? Either just test or follow.
I mean, I think it's still safe to say, though, that your best bet is to build links on indexed websites.
Sure, that's always
That's the most important thing. But it is interesting to understand better how they're actually looking at things. Even when you look at like massive sites that are indexed, but they have pages that aren't indexed because, you know, there's say like 3,000 pages and there's only, you know, 2,600 indexed on the site. Are they not counting those other pages, you know, linking, interlinking anything?
Well,
is
I
a
mean, it
question as
sounds
well.
like they're not.
That's exactly.
Based on John.
Yeah, exactly.
But he
So,
didn't clarify which index either.
no.
Or he didn't clarify
And
that
they
it's
never
the
will.
public facing or if it's the secondary one that we don't see.
Would it matter though? With how he said it, I don't know if it mattered. He just said that the links wouldn't count.
Well, because, I mean, they can be indexed in Google's secondary index
What-
and not show
yeah.
in the public index.
What he's saying is, even if you don't see it indexed, that you still may not know if it's being counted or not.
Like, it could be still indexed, you just wouldn't see it in the search results when you do, like, an index check, because it could be in their secondary index.
It'd be fun to see their whole
I mean, they
index.
do have the secondary index. So which, he didn't really clarify whether it was, if it needed to be in the public index, or if it was just, once it was crawled in their that's, that secondary index, if that was good enough or not.
I mean, think of citations too.
There's a
that
ton
aren't
of
indexed.
There's a
You know
ton
what
of
I mean?
those that don't index in the public or in the public index, but we know Google still crawls them because like you can see them in Search Console and different places like that, but they won't show up when you do a site search. So it's just
It's just interesting to think about. Definitely more testing.